United States. And here's Chuck to give the solution to this grave problem in 3 minutes. Chuck, take it away.
3 minutes.
Are you here with me?
No.
No.
Just move it closer. Move it
Just get
closer.
closer? Go with this one? Go with this? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And nothing like the pressure of having elected officials sweating in the background. But just to start out by saying, my name is Chuck Pennacchio, president of One Pair of States. We've been around since 2009. And the campaign actually sprung out of the discovery of the organization of a group called Healthcare for All Pennsylvania. I ran for U.S. Senate back in '06. And people said after I only got 10% of the vote on, we raised $120,000 and got 10% of the vote statewide in Pennsylvania. Not bad. What we did is we unified the state and brought everybody together around single payer. And a few years later, I had discovered working in Harrisburg that the way to get this done was to make the economic argument, because mostly the Republicans are chairing the committees. The mic is going out again.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, you can hear me, okay. Just fast forward here, the point that I was pushing on then, and that was with my good friend Joel Siegel, right, John Conyers, and others across the country, we've got to get economic impact studies done. We've got to make the economic argument. And we've got the economic argument. I don't know why we were hesitant to do that. Another thing I just want to say is that in turning to the question of greed, I've been pushing for this phrase and would love everybody to pick it up. It's profit first. That's what they're about. Not for profit, it's profit first. If we can all adopt that language, that frame, it drives home the very point about greed. It's profit first. It's baked into their business model. So, just very quick thank yous for Pramila Jayapal, who carried our legislation, the state-based universal health care Act, for many years. She knows it. Bernie Sanders is on record saying that the likelihood of getting to national is through states. And Saskatchewan proves it, as well as the history of the United States. Take a look at child labor, women's suffrage. The list goes on. Civil rights, environmental regulations. This is where the action is often occurring, and now perhaps more than ever. And this is a real opportunity that we've got to embrace. And also just want to thank my fellow panelists here, Jasmine, Megan, Monica, and Julie. And I don't know if she's going to be with us. And the PDA has been so forceful, a co-founder of One Pair of States going back to 2009. Donna Smith's in the room today, our good friend from Tim Carpenter. And need to thank our volunteers with One Pair of States. 25 states. We have 25 states engaged in this work. This is very powerful. We've just circulated a petition and picked up over 15,000 signatures in support of the state-based universal health care. And we just got a senator for the first time. Senator Ed Markey introduced our bill. Now we've got the bill in both houses of Congress. We're going to work both sides. And this is really a critical step forward. And also a shout out to the 82 organizations, which I can't list here, obviously, who signed on in support of our legislation as well. We know what the problems are in healthcare. Everybody's covered this. What I want to do is just touch very quickly on what SUBUCA, we call it, State-Based Universal Health Care Act, actually does, is that it provides what are called super waivers, allows states to bring back the federal health care dollars that are paid out in the form of Medicare and Medicaid and CHIPS and so forth, bring those back to the states, and then that allows the states to model efficiently through a single-payer Medicare for all model what the nation desperately needs, similar to what Tommy Douglas did in Saskatchewan, right? That's what we're looking at. This is our theory of change. I'm an historian. I taught for 32 years, have really studied this. Great resources out there. NV database, nonviolent database.swarthmore.edu, nvdatabase.swarthmore.edu, and Steve is flashing our new iconic model here for. We want the DNC to bring the language back from 2020, which actually called for states to go forward to model this. That was the result of the Sanders-Biden negotiations, if you remember, in 2020. So that language, we want to bring that back for Harris and Walz and the Democratic Party. The other thing that the legislation does is establishes a panel that vets these state programs and determines whether they are actually viable. And they need to hit benchmarks. The money is cordoned off, so it can only be spent on healthcare. And one thing about Warren Buffett is referred to American economic competitiveness in terms of healthcare. It's the tapeworm of economic competitiveness. The other thing here is that Rep. Jayapal, when we talked in the back, she said that she's wants to coordinate as much as possible with the states, introducing them at the same time that we go forward with the Medicare for All bill. That's a shout out and a compliment to the work that she's done in the past and the work that Rep. Khanna and Senator Markey are doing presently. Last thing I want to say, I realize I'm probably exceeding 3 minutes, but just to say a couple words and then invite the conversation going forward at onepayerstates.org. And that is to really be intentional about building a winning strategy. A winning strategy. We talk strategy all the time, don't we? My reference point is actually a book by Edward Bellamy called Looking Backward. It's a book that came out in 1887, and it's a story of how Boston was converted from a dystopian society to a utopian society. It's a visionary novel. We need to see the success. We need to envision that success to move forward. And in doing that, we need to say to ourselves, what did we do to win? What did we do to win? And that includes, of course, coordinating our communication, meeting people where they are, building broad-based coalitions in the 3 Ps. That's policy, people, and politics. Coordinating, thinking intersectionally, connecting all of our social justice movements, relationship building, and connecting our strategies. Making sure that we're aware of what the other is doing, and never bad-mouthing each other. Too much of this still happens. There's too much of the circular firing squad stuff that's going on, even in this movement. We need to call it out. We need to call it out. Lastly, Sabuka, I realize it accomplishes all of the above. It gets us moving the ball and getting where we need to be in terms of creating national Medicare for all. That's our goal. That's the gold standard. That's the work that we're aspired to. Thanks so much to PDA and our partners and to our upcoming reps. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you so much again, Mike Malou from PNHP, Megan Essenheim from People's